Welcome back, everyone, to Imperium Galactica. Strategic Sage here. It is time now for the awaited invasion of Garthog territory to commence. 6 or so hours into the game, and we are finally going to expand militarily for the first time. I have made a couple changes. One of most significance is that we are now going to go into accelerated research. We no longer have to be as careful with our money. I do still have to be careful, but we'll have more money to put into research now that our invasion force is built up and on its way. So that's going to be a thing. Get through those as quickly as we can. And there was a viewer request to take a look at what's going on in Zeusen. Who's the new governor there? So let's take a look at what the comm system has on that.
This is Dante. What's the situation on your planet?
Everything is all right here, sir.
Do not adjust your reception. That fat lot of nothing is just another routine stock message from the same person. The same one who we're told rebelled, the same one who made a beeline for Garthog territory, who was arrested while our fleet was headed the other direction. Yeah, they're supposed to be in jail, but either the comm system is lying to us and useless, which is what I think is the situation, or there's some sort of massive cover-up going on by the Empire. In any case, we are going to continue moving towards Garthog space. Now, let's see what we've got. We are finishing up the bombs, and I need to throw up a few tanks here as well. The weapons factories are going to be super busy going forward. Not so much the spaceships factory, won't be doing as much there. And the equipment factories are basically going to do nothing. But we're going to need to continue on the weapons factory, so if there's ever not anything to spend, I'm going to want to have tanks or bombs rolling. Centronome is almost to the 20,000 mark. Achilles is going to need a hospital soon, but not yet. One small tweak there, and on we go.
Items produced.
Okay, there's our spy satellite. So now we can deploy this so we can properly have an attack to go. So, short little cutscene there. And then we also do have the one survey satellite that we've had for a while. And again, we can't use those on hostile planets that have aliens on them, but we use those on those planets we know nothing about, such as, see, Center 11, Center 12. This one's a little closer to our territory. Let's take a look at that one. So, different looking satellite, but the same basic idea there with that cutscene. Onward.
Items produced.
And now our bombs are done. And we are working on the tanks. So far so good on all of that. Now we are just over 20,000 on Centronomes, so we need to knock down the taxes a bit there. Still looking good. Double check, make sure we're okay. Yep, still over one tank to build. We are almost there. And I actually didn't switch from move to attack, so I definitely need to do that. And then we've got a few taxes to change here. Okay. Time to get this show on the road now. Takes pretty much exactly a full day to go from Centronome all the way down here, so it's a fairly long journey. Now, first of all, we're going to deal with these fighters. The best way I know of is to move these slightly forward for the flagships. And basically their crossfire is usually sufficient to keep them from getting off any kamikaze attacks. Okay. So then we have what's on the planet. Inversion shield. This halves damage to any of the other structures, so we want to take that out first. It also can absorb more damage than the others. Then we have 4 of the ion projectors, the entry-level planetary defense cannons. If we look at their range, they can fire out about a third of the way into this space. So they cover quite a bit, but we can stay behind them, behind that range, and just bomb the planet, which of course is what we're going to do. This is fairly similar to when we were using the missiles from the Emperor's ship, Admiral's ship, back in Captain's rank with the Admiral Benson escort. But it's a little bit different. So I like to fire evenly from each ship rather than fire a bunch off from one at a time. That's a little more efficient for firing at multiple targets. So we're going to go ahead after this one, and we're going to need to hit it with probably 7 bombs. So to begin with, I'm going to do 2 from each of our flagships. See how that goes. And that is the usual result. We have just one little bit of health left. It's almost dead, but not quite. Let's hit it again. And they can shoot down the bombs, but that's fairly rare. However, we have just about the right amount of bombs. It just so happens to deal with all of these targets. So, if they shoot down a few bombs on this one, it's going to get a little more difficult for us. We'll see whether or not that happens or not. We are going to... Now, each of these is going to take about 4 bombs each. So, I will put 2 on this one. That evens out our bomb payloads. And then we're going to hit 2 more on that one. And then this one will fire at the next ion projector. Next set, we'll fire 3 more at this one. That'll be a total of 4 aimed at that one, and so on. And of course, by saturating it like this, throwing a bunch of bombs out there at once, there's less likelihood that a bunch of them get shot down, because these can only fire so quickly, and they can't target everything. Now we're going to move on to the next one. It's important to remember to select bomb fire, because if you just go for the normal attack, the flagship will move in and get shot, and all of that will be very bad. And we'll throw off a couple more at this one, and then at that point, we should have like 1 bomb left per flagship, so I'm just going to hold and see what happens. Okay. So it looks like probably one of them maybe got shot down here, or they just... There is somewhat randomized amount of damage they get, so they might have just gotten a low amount of damage there. We have 1 bomb left there, 1 left there, 1 left there. Okay. So, we are going to just try to knock that one out. Got it. And then these 2 are going to go after this buddy. Okay, now you see we're out of bombs, just has this tiny sliver of health. We could go and just get some more ammo and come back. But that would literally take 2 days. We're not going to do that. If we look at their fire range here, I'm going to want to move a little bit. Like so. And I just basically want to spread out a bit just outside of the range. And why don't you redirect a bit this way? This should be reasonable. Now, as soon as we get one of these in range and it literally fires off a shot, we're going to be able to do this. We can attack them conventionally. It just, they're going to hit us while we do it. There we go. Didn't take much damage there at all. So, now we are on the surface, and the first thing to notice is see all these random, well, seemingly random, damage numbers? We caused that by our bombing from orbit. You not only destroy the planetary defense guns and shields and whatever else they have, but you also do damage, splash damage, to some of the buildings. And you can see it didn't hit some of them, it did hit others. You know, I don't think there's anything about that other than a sort of random element. But it's still much better than throwing in your ships there and getting them pounded by their guns. If you have to choose between the two, you know, possibly having to repair some of these buildings after we capture the planet is not nearly as bad of a deal. So, what we're looking for, first of all, is where might their fortresses be? Fortresses are an upgrade on barracks. They're a defensive structure on the planet. 8 ground vehicles can be housed by them, and they have guns that can do a significant amount of damage to your tanks. So you want to be careful and stay away from those. Well, this could be a spot for one, and this could be a spot for one, based on the size of the buildings. As it happens, they have one, and it's right here. So we want to stay away from that. We want to be an area where we have open maneuverability, not a ton of buildings right by there. So we definitely don't want to go over here. This up here isn't that great. We might want to go over in this corner, though I don't like corners too bad, or too much, rather. And you know, this down here isn't too bad either. I'm going to go down in this area. So just sort of this lower right area where we should have some room to maneuver away from the buildings. It's a little bit of a game in terms of trying to determine, okay, what's the best place on this planet? That's what I'm going to go with. And I like to go about 8 wide and 3 deep. It's sort of a question of, you know, how wide do you want to have your front versus how maneuverable, with tanks not getting stacked up behind each other. You can split them into a couple different locations. I just don't find that to be that useful. So here's what we're going to go with. And as usual, we start the battle and unpause. And this is actually good for us, what we're seeing right here. The deployment of the tanks, much as we've seen in our defensive battles on the ground, can be fairly random. Now, these are rocket sleds. They are fast, they have long range, and they are powerful glass cannons. So you really want to, if they are protected by tanks, they are extremely dangerous. If they are not protected by tanks, you can take them out a lot quicker. And the fact that these are in front here, we're just going to make a beeline for them immediately. That's usually what we want to do when rocket sleds are around, is just knock them out as quick as possible and then worry about everything else. But we don't want to go into range of the fortress. You can see they have other light tanks around. They have, this is another rocket sled. They have radar cars, which I don't care about. They have a radar jammer, which I don't care about. And they have a heavy tank, but that's way up here away from us. And a few more lights down here. So it would be difficult for this to be actually deployed in a much more advantageous scenario for us. This is going to work out well. We'd still win the battle. But it's just a question of, you know, to what degree are we going to have problems. So I'm going to send about half of our tanks directly up this way to take those out. And I'm going to send the others over here to take out this one. And I'm not going to care what these other tanks, these other vehicles do. These tanks, they can come attack us. We don't care. Very important that we want to be careful at this stage to preserve as many tanks as we can, because every tank that we lose is 4,800 credits and a few hours of rebuilding, like over 5 hours at our current level of factories. And that, all that time adds on to the delay until we can launch our next attack. So, you know, our efficiency of this invasion is very much at issue here. Okay, yep, and there they go. Now they're firing off. Now let's split up a bit. Let's do... I'm going to start here. I'm going to have... I'll go with these 5 for now. You attack here. You attack here. And then you're all sort of coming off this way. But eventually, why don't you get into the fight attacking there. Okay. Now all of you, you're going to hit this one. And so are all of you. Blow them up. Yep, all these tanks get into the mix. Don't care. Rocket sleds must die. Okay, those two are down. This one is almost down. So once that's taken care of, then we can sort out everything else. Now, there's a lot. There seem to be more tanks over this way. Where's that heavy coming? It's still... Okay, that's still making its way through. See, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4... Yeah, they've got almost as many tanks over there as we do. Whereas we're not nearly looking as rough. So basically what I want to do is I want to shift a bunch of you over here to help. And then let's have maybe all of you hit that one. And all of you hit this one. And I actually may not even be shifting enough. Okay, you're down. Now we're going to lose some of these tanks, obviously. Like, we're not going to keep everybody. But the idea is to keep as many as we can. So you just want to eliminate them one at a time. Okay. Let's bring all of you over here. You're taking out this one. All of you. Let's see, let's throw you onto this one. You can hit that. Why don't you hit this one? And the rest of you keep coming. Okay. Yep, everybody is now pretty much free. So I just want them to keep on trucking right over this way. Help out as much as we can, as these tanks are really taking a hit. Let's go after these. Everybody just jump in. And here comes the heavy. If you have a choice, I find it's much better to focus in on the smaller tanks than to really try to go after the heavies hard. But in this case, we're down low enough on them that I think I want to divert some of these to do that as well. Okay, now you may be dead, but let's see if we can get you out of here. I might be able to run them. Anybody that's, you know, that badly damaged, we can keep them around. Okay, now everybody, except for you. You run away. Keep running. Oh yeah, you're stuck there. Okay, maybe you try to run this way. Everybody else, go after the heavy. It's the only other threat. Ah, doggone it. We're going to lose that one. Oh well. Okay. So lost a few. Not that many. We're doing pretty well. Now the fortress is up here. And I'm going to see about this one. But if it runs, I'm not going to chase it. It's running this way. So we'll get it. Okay, now everybody get out this way, away from the fortress. Away from the fortress. Now, I've never found a way that I thought was great and awesome to go after these fortresses. It is 15% damage, thankfully. When they get below 50% damage, we'll see they do a lot better, or do a lot worse, rather. They don't fire nearly as much. Some of their turrets will explode. So we want to move up and sort of, yeah, don't go too close to it, please. But I want to spread out my healthy tanks, the ones that aren't really damaged. And so I'm just going to take a bit to do this. Because how everything tends to bunch up, and they're still going to do it, even after I spread them out. But since they tend to bunch up and get in each other's way with the pathfinding, if I spread them out, I will minimize that issue. I won't get rid of it completely, but I will minimize it. So if we come here, and then maybe down here, and I'm taking the tanks again that are mostly intact. The ones that aren't, I'm just going to separate them off. Okay, let's move one up here. Maybe push you up this way a little bit. Perfect spacing doesn't even help, really, for this. I just want to have decent spacing. And we'll sort of just fill in behind them. With some of these that are a little bit damaged. Yeah, you might be going too close. You are going too close. Get away! Surprised they didn't shoot at you. Okay. Then we're going to throw in these other ones behind. And they will definitely join the attack. They're just not going to join it right away. Okay. So now, let me just gather up all of my tanks that are... Well, there we go. And now we're going to rush at it. And once that's begun, I will have the others join in as well. And really, it's about getting as much firepower on the fortress as quickly as you possibly can. That's what this is about. Because the more of that you do, the less it can shoot at you. And you can see, it's going to pound on some of these pretty hard. And sometimes they'll switch targets, but when they don't, there's a little bit of a randomness to it. So focus on one target, boom, it's dead. But now they're under 50%. You can see they've only got the one turret now firing at us. They knocked out another tank. But we did pretty well there. And now, nothing we have left is going to be damaged because we only have this one little thing to hit. Now we'll see how I do here, but typically in this battle I'll lose 6 to 10 tanks, depending on, you know, where their initial distribution is. Because of the rocket sleds, I probably lost fewer on the fewer end of that. Oh, nope, I did lose 8. Okay. That was a little more than I was hoping for, actually roughly average, despite the good start. But still, we have 8 tanks to replace. We have destroyed, and we destroyed 12 light, 1 heavy, 1 special. I believe they're talking about the jammer there. Then the radar vehicle and the 3 launchers. So we still, you know, took out twice what we lost. That isn't even counting the fortress. I'll take it. Notice you have found the plans of Food TM Factory on the alien planet. So that's nice. We have a lot of things now to look into in terms of the aftermath of this particular battle. Now, up with that food factory, we'll get into this more in a bit. But that's down here in our buildings, and this was available for research before. It is the only technology, as far as I know, that you will ever capture by invading an enemy planet. And they don't tell you that that's even a possibility. So that's just sort of another trap in the game where you don't want to research this because you'll just get it. Now, if we look down at the planet itself, again, we have the same issue here. 1/3 of the population destroyed. They hate us. Can you imagine why? Now we're going to lower down all of our taxes. And they do have various structures. But you will never be as profitable on an alien world as you are on a human world. So if we look at what they have an arcology, 7 nuclear plants. Interesting, they're using nuclear technology. They don't have fusion, or fusion can't be built on this planet, but they do have more advanced technologies than we do in terms of the food factory, but their power plants appear to be, at best, even with ours, and most likely worse. And notice there are no more morale buildings here. You can't build a church. You can't build a rec center, a bar, ever. You can't build trade buildings, ever. So that limits how much taxes you can have and keep the population in line. And so this planet will eventually be barely profitable. The main value to the planets, of course, is allowing you to have more factories and allowing you to have more development centers. It's not financial. We are going to put up a couple of police stations to get the population, pacified, and so that we'll be able to get some money out of it. But that's about the only thing we want to build for now. We could build a development center. I want to conserve our money instead. And we are going to need to finish replacing the tanks. So, we have 3, and we need 8. So we're going to bump this up to 5. And then we're just going to wait for those to finish before I really do anything else. Now, another thing to look at here on the planet is the stress is going to continue to be on our weapons factories. So we did capture a spaceship factory, which is damaged. We don't really care too much about that. The weapons factory isn't damaged. If it was, I would want to try to repair it. We could eventually repair some of these power plants. I could, nuke a couple of these power plants, demolish them, get the resources back from them. But, why would I do that right now? I don't really need it, and we'll just save the powerful later. We're going to need it down the line, especially building development centers. So at this point, we just sort of want to sit back and prepare for our next attack, which is going to be on Garthog 2, the weakest planet of them all, both from ground and in the space. Garthog 5 was the second hardest from space and third hardest in the middle in terms of the ground defenses. So this will be an easier attack for us, for sure. I'm going to move towards it to reorient our ship. I basically want it to be as far away from Garthog 5 on this vector as it can be, so that we will be able to refit it here. And of course, that's the main reason I went after Garthog 5, is that it has the military spaceport. Oh, our cruiser development has stopped. Okay, so now we're going to work on our own rocket sled as our next project. This will take a couple days, even at maximum effort, although we won't be able to finish it all the way. And if we take a look at the cruiser, you can see it stopped at 83% with 40 ticks to go, because that's all it could do due to being one short on the development centers that it needs. Okay, so if we hop in here, we're waiting for it to say no planet near. There it is. Then we're going to turn around, head back to Garthog 5, and wait for that to go away. There we are. And now we hit stop. So now we're in the optimal position, and we're just waiting for these tanks to wrap up. Okay, so what do we have now? Gonna need to drop down those taxes. Looking good there. I do think it's time for me to build a hospital here, but I also want to make use of the food factory. We aren't that far away here on food like our other planets. Much bigger gaps in terms of their food supply. We're going to be fine there for a while. But let's build one here and take a look at the differences. So the hydroponic food farm, 4,200 cost, 1,300 energy, 15,000 tons. That's a little bit misleading. It's food for 8,000 people. So these are 5x7, as we have noted before. The food factory is 7x7, so it's bigger, but it's got 10,000, so over twice the cost, 2,000 energy, 40,000 tons. This is enough for 20,000 people, so it produces 2.5 times the amount of food. So on a space basis and on an energy basis, it does a lot better, 60-70%. In terms of the cost, it's only maybe 5% more efficient. But still, overall, it is a much better alternative. And much like the arcologies with housing, once you get the food factory and you can afford it, you don't want to build any more hydroponic farms. Utilizes the latest advances in genetically engineered meat beast, fast grain, and sculpted algae to produce large quantities of food for hungry colonists. In other words, highly processed whatever. Doesn't sound too appetizing, but you know what? It works, and we're going to make use of it. So I'm going to build a food factory down here. We are also going to need to supply that much power. Another power plant. And you want to build these a little bit earlier than you do with the hydroponic farms, because these take almost a full day to build. Whereas the hydroponic food farms, you know, like 8 hours or something like that. So you can't wait till the last minute on these, which is why I'm building it now and not perhaps a day or so later. Let's get that hospital up on Achilles. And that can go right up here. If I can get the spot. There it is.